We're continuing the story of the account of Jesus' first cleansing of the temple in the second chapter of the Gospel of John, coming now to verse 17. Jesus, of course, has just, with some degree of modest violence, driven out those who are merchandising in the outer court there, the court of the Gentiles in the temple area. It was a fairly large area, some 35 acres or so, but Jesus certainly made his presence known in a very dramatic way. And having now wrapped it up, having declared to these who were engaged in this kind of activity that they should not make his Father's house a place of merchandising, an emporium is actually the word that's used there, we come to verse 17. Verse 17, Emnesthesan, from memnesko, to remember, or I remember. This is the third person plural, and it's actually the passive indicative of this, so it was brought to their memory, would be the idea of this. It was brought to their memory, namely the disciples. The disciples had it brought to their memory out to his disciples, hoti, that, and then gegramenon, this is the perfect passive participle, that which was written, or it is here, stood written, or that which was written. So it was brought to the disciples' minds, their memory, that which is present, written, passive participle, and then a quote then from the Old Testament, ho zelos, the zeal. Of course, our English word zeal is taken straight from the Greek here, ho zelos tu oikou, of the house, su, singular, of thee, thy house, your house, referring, of course, to the house of God. Kataphagetai, this is from estheo, it means I eat. This is the deponent future of it, formed irregularly. So it's will eat me up. Sometimes translated has eaten me up, but actually it's more correctly will eat me up. The me here is, of course, identical to the English me. Kataphagetai. The kata often means down, and so gobble me down would be the idiom here, something like that, to just eat me up. The picture here of one who is completely impassioned in their concern for, in this case, the temple. And so Jesus is prepared to go way outside the bounds of normal, decent behavior in his zeal for protecting this place, which is the temple. Of course, ultimately, the temple is going to be destroyed. He'll say that when he returns to the temple at a later time. Not one stone will be left upon another. And the true temple is going to come in its place, the living temple, described repeatedly throughout the New Testament. But for now, this is that moment of transition, and Jesus, in this great zealous declaration, makes this statement and conducts these works there in their midst.